in under a month's time, I'll be turning 51, and I just thought it might be a good idea for me to come and have a chat about some of the key things that I've learned over the 50 years of my life, and with the hope that somebody would find value in it and find some things that they can utilize and apply in their minds. The first thing I'm going to talk about is to be intentional about finding out who you are. Like, you must be deliberate about searching, discovering yourself. The key thing about knowing yourself is that it helps you to avoid and eliminate a lot of things in your life, because you would be knowing what it is that you want, what it is that you don't want, what it is that you're about, and so forth. So this thing comes easy for others and not for others. Some people take a long time to get to a place where they truly and fully understand who they are, and for some people it's something that they quickly get into and they're able to easily understand early on in life. That is, it took quite a while for me, and as a result, along the way, I just bumped my head against so many walls. I made so many mistakes because I had not fully gotten to understand who I am. But in hindsight, I look back now and I think, had I known earlier, there's a lot of things I could have avoided, because most of the time we get into things because we are not certain, we are not sure. But when you really know, like at this point in my life, I can see something from a mile away, and I know for a fact and for certain that it's not for me. I can advise you to actively and intentionally search and discover who you are, what you're about. It will help you eliminate a lot of things that are not who you are, things that you should not even be wasting your time on. And I say this understanding that we all have our different journeys, we all have our different paths, but the whole point of information sharing is so that even if, yes, you have your different path and your different journey, but you can learn from other people's mistakes and sort of minimize those mistakes. Self-discovery does not it does not have a destination, because we as people, we change all the time, we evolve. So for instance, things that I liked 5 years ago, some of the things I'm not necessarily keen on them anymore, because life changes and we evolve. So it's not a destination, it's an ever-changing thing. But when you are conscious and actively seeking to discover and are self-aware and know when something is not for you anymore, it helps you, as you navigate your life. The second thing is, like I would say, build or establish or find a belief system for yourself. In this instance, I'm going to talk from a Christian perspective, because that is what I am. I'm Christian. I'm the follower of Jesus Christ. Therefore, that's what I subscribe to. A belief system, what it has done for me, it anchors me. So I have found in my life that having a belief system, believing in the Lord Jesus Christ, has anchored my life and has made me not just moving around not knowing where I'm going, or moving around directionless, but I have a God that I go to and I talk to on a daily basis, and I tell him all my challenges and I tell him all my desires, and I have testimonies and of the things that he has done for me. So that anchors me to know that there is somebody who cares about me. There's somebody who wants to see me do well. So that has anchored me. The third thing that I want to talk about is to encourage you to seek information. Knowledge is power. Find information in whatever it is that you have interest in. If there's something that you are interested in, dig in a little bit more, read up about it, Google it. There's a lot of search engines on the online world where you can find information. YouTube, for example, is one of those. But anything that you have an interest in, dig information, read up about it, ask people who may be in the in that space that you're interested in, if it's a different career direction, and you know people who are doing that kind of work, talk to those people, but seek information. Don't be we should not be people who are ignorant. Ignorance, it's not a good thing. It's not attractive. It's not cute. Seek information. Read up about it. If you don't like reading books, read articles on the internet, but just read. Get into the habit of equipping yourself with knowledge. Another thing that I want to talk about, that's the fourth thing, is to understand finances. Understand finances in your personal context, understand finances outside of your context. For example, from a national point of view, understand finances as to what's the issues with money, what's grey listing, what's blacklisting, what's recession, because those things have an impact on your own personal finances. So if there's a conversation about a country going through recession, or a country going through a grey listing or a blacklisting, just find out a little bit more what that means to you. How is that going to impact you on a personal level? I say this because I made a massive financial mistake because I was ignorant to what was happening in the country at the time. Actually, it was not even the country, it was a global recession. And I took a decision that had massive financial implications on my life. And I ended up losing everything. I've spoken about a little bit about my loss in one of the videos. I've never really sat and talked about it much, but just to give you a little brief, is that several years ago I went through loss, a massive loss. I lost my house, lost my car, I lost everything. I just went into a huge financial setback that impacted my children and my family at large and so forth. And I look back now that I made a decision that had financial implications, but I forged ahead and took that decision without considering what was happening around me, like nationally, what was happening globally. It was in the time of recession, and that had a huge impact in the decision that I took. And as a result, I lost everything. And I learned from that not to be ignorant to these things, because they do come back somehow to affect us on a personal level. I've noticed that banks, the banks that I'm acquainted with now, in the last week or so, when the president was talking, was it the Minister of Finance was delivering the budget speech, a day or two after that, I saw that they were sending messages, sort of having broken the budget speech down to explain to their customers what certain things that the minister had spoken about what impact those things will have on their customers' personal finance. And I found that to be so refreshing. So do take notice of such things and look at what how certain things are going to impact you. Another thing, I think that's number 5, is to say it's okay to ask for help. I used to have this superwoman mentality. And that is because from an early age, I was able to just do things for myself. I had children young. I had my first child at 18. I had my second child at 22. And I was very deliberate not to burden my parents with my children. So I took it upon myself to say, I'm just going to do whatever it takes, do whatever I can to work for my children and not rely on anybody. I wouldn't say there's no job I've never done, but I've worked so many different jobs. I was a preschool teacher at some point. I was a data capturing clerk at some point. I was a filing clerk for a trade union at some point. I was a receptionist at some point. I was a PA to a CEO at some point. Yeah, I'm in corporate governance now, and I've worked in different environment, like I said, childhood care, insurance space, the public service now. So I did everything that I could do, that I could find, to make sure that I'm able to provide for my children. I never knew how to ask for help. And it's over the years that I got to learn through a friend of mine, just the conversation we had. And she was just saying to me, I've noticed that sometimes you get into situations and you will be, by yourself navigating, going up and down, but you never come to just say, I have this problem. Is there any way you can maybe help me think about it, even not even do anything about it, but just to think? Because sometimes when you are in a problem, you can be blinded to certain things, but somebody else may see it from a different perspective. And I learned from that day onwards to say it's okay to ask for help. And you'll be so surprised how many people out there are willing to come and give you support, to come and assist you. So the superwoman, superman attitude or way of doing things does not help, because life is hard, life is not easy. There are times where you are just so exhausted and your energy is so depleted because you don't trust other people to support you, whereas people will gladly and willingly be there and support you. So be okay. Find people around your circles whom you can trust enough to be able to go to for help, and you'll be so surprised how many people are willing to help. And it's okay to ask for help, but guard against being a nuisance. You don't want to be a nuisance to people. But really, if you need help, by all means, find people in your life who will be willing and who will gladly, give you help when you need help. So, no superwoman tendency. Life is hard as it is. It's okay to just lean on other people sometimes. Another thing that I would say is to say, teach yourself to communicate, learn to communicate. Communicate with your people about the things that you want, things you don't want, things that you intend to do, how you want to direct your life. Just be a person who communicates, because as leaving things to assumptions does not help. Ask, communicate in a form of asking where you are not certain. But communication eliminates a lot of things, because we can get caught up in assumptions, and assumptions have ruined so many relationships. I'm just talking about relationships either with family or with friends or with co-workers and so forth. um, we know that relationships have been ruined before because people just assume. You see somebody maybe not necessarily in the best of moods in a particular day, and you just think, oh, what's their problem? Why are they not talking to me? And you adopt the same attitude and you just don't talk to them for no reason. But had you asked, maybe they're just having a bad day that day. Maybe something major has happened in their lives. But had you asked, maybe they would have given you an insight, and you'd know that they are going through something, and leave them to go through it and come back once they're okay. But you just assume that they're not talking to me, so surely something is funny, then I'm not going to talk to them myself. No, don't leave things to assumption. Ask questions. Convey what you want people to know about yourself. It helps a lot. Another thing is to say we need to be people who take action. There was a time and a period in my life where I was just procrastinating everything. I would have ideas, I would have things to do, and I would just procrastinate. So I really, at some point, felt like I needed to do something about this procrastination challenge. I remember at the time it was even affecting my performance at work because there were just things that I would procrastinate to do, and it will catch up with me and, have a negative impact on my performance. So I then decided that I'm not going to let procrastination or the spirit of procrastination rule my life. No. And I just started taking action on that. And all the things that I felt were hard, for example, in the work situation, things that I thought were hard, which most of the time I would leave to last and then end up keep on saying, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it tomorrow. Then I taught myself to say, first thing when I come to work, that hard thing is the first thing that I'm going to start working on, because the other easy things, it's easy to do anyway. And I've developed that habit over the years. The beauty about taking action is that you take action and then you will realize that, for example, if it's just things, excuse me, you want to do on a personal note, you do something about it, and then once you've done it, you will be able to know whether you like it and you want to continue doing it, or maybe it's just like, okay, it was nice to do it on a once-off basis, I don't want to do that anymore. So take action, let's get into the habit of actioning the things that we think about, we want to do, because that's when we will know whether we want to carry on with that or we don't. So yeah, it's good to have plans and ideas and all of that, but action the things that you want to do. And I'm not talking big things, starting a business, blah blah blah. Yes, action even that, if that's what you do. But the habits start with just implementing things on a small scale, and then you'll be able to implement on a bigger scale. You can't rush to go big when on a smaller scale basis you are not doing what you're supposed to do. So, and another thing, this is actually something that I read a while ago, and it stuck with me. It says you are the total sum of the people you have met, people who have helped you, and people that you have learned from. When I read this, and I thought, wow, this is actually the truth. And one of the things about me, I love to help other people. That's just the kind of heart that I have. I have a heart to serve. And when I read this quote, it actually even made me want to help people even more, because I felt what it said to me is that I am the person that I am because of the people that have come in and out of my life. People who have come into my life, taught me certain things, and they left. People who have come into my life and have helped me, and they left. People I've learned things from in my life. So I'm a total sum of all of those people. Therefore, I feel like I have an obligation to be that to somebody else. Help where you can, assist where you can. Well, help and assist is the same thing, but you get where I'm trying to get at. But be there for others, teach others something, because the things that I know, I was not born knowing all of these things. It's things that I've learned over the years. And where do we learn things from? From people, through people. Yes, school contributes in terms of information that we know, but in terms of life experiences, we learn things from people. And they do say a certain percentage of life is learned behavior. So what we know, it's things we've learned from people, be it family, be it friends, be it co-workers. Let's not be people who are selfish about giving to others, because we are where we are because of we are a sum of people that have come through our lives and left certain valuable things with us, which has helped us to become who we are. So yeah, think about that when you just want to gatekeep and not share information with others. Think about that when you just want to be uneasy. And I'm not saying give of yourself to everybody. You have to protect your peace, your sanity, and all of that. But when people ask for help in something that you can give without it affecting you in any negative way, you should do it, because you are the total sum of everybody that's come through your life, taught you something, helped you with something. Another thing that I've also learned over the years is not to elevate myself in other people's lives. A lot of people get hurt because they have elevated themselves in people's lives, and when people don't come through for them in a way that they expect, then it hurts them so much. So I've learned that I will not elevate myself in nobody's life. I have friends, I have acquaintances, and it's people that I do life with and they are good to me. But I do not put myself in a pedestal in their lives, because I'm not the only person who is in their lives, and I do not know the intricacies of their relationships with other people. Therefore, I'm not going to put myself to be the super friend, the best friend, the whatever. No, I just accept and relate with them at the level that I relate with them, and I'm happy about that. But I don't elevate myself in people's lives, and I also don't elevate people in my life. They are my friends, and we have a friendship at that friendship level, and that's that. But I've seen it so many times where people get so hurt because the people that they had elevated themselves in their lives have done things, and it left them so disappointed. Also, it sort of goes maybe hand in hand with the previous statement. You need to love yourself enough to go where you're appreciated. Don't stay in relationships where you can see that there's no appreciation for you. Like I said about elevation, I don't elevate myself, I don't elevate people, but the people that I relate with, it's people whom I feel appreciate me as a person, as a friend, and I appreciate them as well. But where I don't feel where I don't feel appreciated, I have no issue with excusing myself. I will gladly excuse myself in a place where I don't feel appreciated. One thing about staying in a place where there's no appreciation for who you are and the person that you are is that you don't thrive. You don't become fully yourself, or you end up wanting to be things that you are not, so that you can feel welcomed, you can feel appreciated, you can feel like you have a seat at the table. We can't change who we are just because we want people to accept us and appreciate us. Hell no. If people don't appreciate you, excuse yourself. Believe it or not, there's always people for you. Like your own people that will appreciate who you are will find you, and you will find them. But don't stick around in environments that people don't appreciate you, because like I said, you don't want to change who you are just because you want to fit in. Another thing, teach yourself to master conflict resolution. Whether we like it or we don't, in this life, we'll come across conflict. We will have conflict with our siblings. We will have conflict with our family members. We will have conflicts with our co-workers. We'll have conflict with our managers. We will have conflict with the people that we manage. We will have conflict with people even at church. Do not be the person that cowers and runs away from conflict. I'm not saying be the perpetrator and make the conflict even bigger, but learn the skills to manage conflict and deal with it. because sometimes things get out of control because we are not addressing them and we are not dealing with them. And sometimes, even if you deal with things, they still might not change, but you would have done what you needed to do. And when you decide to say, I'm walking away from this, you know you walk away having done your part. But when you are participating in resolving the conflict, you might just be helping to curb the challenge and fix the problem, and you move away with the problem resolved. So I know it's an awkward and sometimes unnecessary thing to find yourself in, but it's important to teach yourself to conflict resolve, because whether you like it or not, at some point in your life it's gonna come, particularly in your work environment. If you are moving up your career, you're going to manage people and conflict will surely arise. Equip yourself with skills to conflict to resolve, because it sneaks up on us one way or the other. And if you have learned not to be afraid of it or push it aside, it makes things a little bit better for you, because it will come. Another thing I wanted to talk about, it links a little bit with the understanding finances part, is to try as much as you can to live a debt-free life. I know it's a thorny subject. Money is an awkward and a thorny issue, because we know that money is tough to come by. Money is hard to make. But I've learned over the years to strive towards living a debt-free life. I say this because, like I said earlier on about experiencing loss and so forth, when I was going through that season, I realized that had I had no debt, or actually minimal debt, had I had no debt, or had I had minimal debt, I would have been able to come around the situation much sooner or much quicker. But it took me years to recover from that financial setback, because over and above me losing the big things in my life, I also had so much debt. So yeah, it was just a lot of things to juggle, a lot of things to navigate, and it just took forever to resolve. Thankfully, I've been able to get out of that situation, but I would encourage you to work towards living a debt-free life, or even if you have debt, let it be what the financiers call good debt. And minimize other lacking debt. If you're going to borrow money for things that you can live without, don't borrow that money. Live without those things until you have the money to do them, to buy those things. But yeah, if you can avoid those little debts that tend to lack around us, avoid that and just remain with the debt that matters, your bond, your car, school fees and things like that. But if you can, work towards minimizing debt in your life and striving to live debt-free. Another thing, it interlinks, I suppose, with not elevating people in your life. You are not obligated to give people access into your life. No. You are not obligated. You give people access into your life to the people that you want to give access to. Don't feel obliged to open yourself up to everybody. It's your life, it's your decision, and it's up to you whom you give access and up to you whom you don't give access. Because the truth and the reality is that not everybody around you wishes you good. Not everybody around you wishes you well. I'm not preaching negativity, don't get me wrong, but it's the truth. Some people around you just want access into your life so that they can see what's there, and people who are competitive, it's just, let me see so that I can see how I can overtake them. Let me go see so that I can see what they don't have and go around telling other people what's there. So just be careful, and you have no obligation. You can keep your life as quiet, as close knit as you want. My view is that the many people you have in your life, there are just many things you have to manage. But if you keep your life very lean, you have very few things to manage. That's just me. Another thing is, take good care of your health. Our health and our bodies is the one thing that we have that carries us through this life. And if you neglect your health, everything then that you work for might get, they might get a time where it's just like, then what? Because you might not even be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor because your health might be failing you. And I say this knowing that some other illnesses just creep up on us, even if we are taking good care of our health. That's just the fact of life. But whatever it is in your power that you can do, take care of your health. Eat well, exercise if it's something that you want to do, but just do things that will nourish your life, your physical health, so that this body can be able to carry you into the things that you are currently doing, but even the things that you want to do in the future. So look after yourself, take care of your health. That's physical and mental health as well. So yeah, thank you so much, darlings, for watching. Thank you for your support. Thank you for your love. I hope the things that I've spoken about will add value in your life. I hope the things that I've spoken about will just make you think a little differently. But most importantly, I hope some of the things I've spoken about will help you. All right then. Thank you for your love. Take good care of yourself. Mwah.